The movie begins with a boy named Jesse having breakfast with his family. Jesse is an introverted boy who comes from a financially struggling household. Because of their poor living conditions, Jesse often feels sick and stressed. He has 5 sisters, but he is especially close to his youngest sister, who even goes to school with him. One day, Jesse heads to school, excited because there's a big race competition happening that day. But he discovers that someone has no shoes. Disappointed, he starts asking his mother about the shoes. She tells him that they were in such bad condition that she threw them away. Then, she hands him a pair of his younger sister's shoes to wear instead. Jesse refuses at first, saying they're girls' shoes. Just then, his father walks in and says they'll buy Jesse a new pair. However, due to their lack of money, Jesse is again told to wear his sister's shoes. To make them look less like girls' shoes, Jesse tries to cover them with a black marker. But later, water spills on them, and the black color starts to come off. Just then, the school bus arrives. Feeling embarrassed, Jesse runs to catch the bus. In the next scene, we see Jesse sitting quietly in his classroom. While Jesse is sitting in class, 2 students begin teasing him for wearing girls' shoes. Just then, the principal enters the classroom with a new girl named Leslie. He introduces her to everyone, explaining that she's just. After that, the teacher assigns the class a task to write an essay that they'll have to read aloud the next day. Later, a race competition is announced to begin after class, and Jesse is excited to participate. But to his surprise, Leslie also joins the race. As the race starts, Jesse takes the lead, but in an unexpected twist, Leslie quickly passes everyone and wins the race. She's thrilled by her victory and reaches out to Jesse, hoping to celebrate with him. But Jesse quietly walks away, feeling embarrassed. On the way home, Jesse is on the school bus with his younger sister, and Leslie is also on the same bus. When they all get off at the same stop, Jesse begins to think that maybe Leslie is following him. But after a while, Leslie explains that she just moved into a nearby house in the same town. The next day at school, some boys begin teasing Jesse again. This time, Leslie quickly comes to his side. She asks to see some of Jesse's drawings. When she looks at them, she's amazed and praises his artwork with genuine admiration. Later, their class begins, and the teacher invites Leslie to come forward and read her essay. As she speaks, the class learns that Leslie has a unique hobby, scuba diving. She continues sharing her interests and hobbies with everyone, speaking with confidence and enthusiasm. Jesse listens quietly, but he starts to feel inspired by her words. At the end of the school day, Leslie takes a seat at the back of the bus, not knowing that it's usually reserved for older students. Jesse notices and invites her to sit beside him instead. For the first time, Jesse finds himself talking to someone so openly and comfortably. As they walk home together with Jesse's sister, Leslie playfully challenges Jesse to a race. Laughing, they begin to run toward the forest. While exploring, they come across a rope hanging over a stream of water. Leslie bravely swings across to the other side using the rope. Jesse hesitates, afraid to try, but with Leslie's encouragement and support, he finally crosses too. Deeper in the forest, they discover an old, broken-down car. Leslie, full of imagination, pretends it's a magical horse carriage. A little farther ahead, they spot a treehouse. Leslie begins to imagine it as a heavenly palace, where she is the princess of her own world. Leslie's imagination continues to soar as she pretends that all the forest creatures have gathered to see her. She imagines the old, broken treehouse as a grand castle, and pretending to speak to her loyal subjects, she loudly declares, "I am your princess, and I've come to rescue all of you. I will watch over you from now on." Suddenly, strong winds begin to blow through the forest, and Leslie feels a rush of joy. She names her imaginary kingdom Terabithia. From that day forward, Jesse and Leslie start visiting Terabithia after school regularly. It becomes their secret magical world, and lose themselves in creativity and fantasy. Their friendship grows stronger, and Jesse's life begins to change. He starts feeling happier at school, becomes more social, and even begins talking to his classmates. But one day, a girl pretends to fall and then accuses Jesse of pushing her. As punishment, Jesse is forced to get off the bus before reaching home. Because of this, he has no choice but to walk all the way back. When Jesse finally reaches his stop, he sees that Leslie is already there, waiting for him. Together, they head back to the treehouse in the forest, their special hideout. They sit and talk for a while, surrounded by the peaceful beauty of nature. A gentle brook flows nearby, adding to the charm of the place. As they sit there, they begin naming parts of their imaginary kingdom after people from school, mostly the ones who used to tease them. While they're chatting, a squirrel suddenly appears and starts throwing nuts at them. Laughing, Jesse names the squirrel after a particularly mischievous boy from school. He even imagines the squirrel as an evil creature and playfully pretends to fight with it like a hero. Later, Jesse returns home and starts sketching in his room. While he's drawing, his family surprises him with a small celebration. It's his birthday. Due to their financial struggles, his family grows fruits and vegetables in their backyard. But lately, animals have been sneaking into the greenhouse and stealing some of the food. To stop this, Jesse's father sets up a trap to catch them. The next day, Leslie gives Jesse a birthday present. When he unwraps it, he finds a beautiful set of colorful drawing supplies. Jesse is touched by the thoughtful and expensive gift and thanks her sincerely. From then on, Jesse and Leslie visit their treehouse every day, working together to decorate it and make it feel like a magical world. One day, while sitting inside, they hear a loud crash. One of the trees has fallen. Curious, they rush outside and walk over to its roots. As they stare at the tangled roots, they start imagining them as the evil form of a giant creature, something sent to attack them. Of course, it's all just part of Leslie's vivid imagination. She loves turning ordinary things into magical adventures and sees even this fallen tree as part of their enchanted world. Their magical adventures in the forest continue. One day, Jesse's animal trap finally catches something, a creature that had been sneaking into their garden and stealing vegetables. But instead of harming it, Jesse chooses to release the animal back into the forest. When his father finds out, he becomes furious and scolds Jesse harshly. He warns him that the animal is dangerous and will definitely return to ruin their crops again. If that happens, his father says angrily, we'll be left with nothing. Hurt by his father's words, Jesse quietly walks away, feeling discouraged. But ever since Leslie came into it, he had found a small spark of hope, something that made him feel alive and seen. One day, Jesse spots a stray dog outside a shop. It clearly doesn't belong to anyone and looks lonely. Moved by the dog's condition, Jesse decides to adopt it and surprises Leslie by gifting it to her. Leslie is overjoyed when she sees the dog and instantly names him Prince. She decides that Prince will be the guardian of their magical kingdom. Later, the three of them, Jesse, Leslie, and Prince, head off together to their enchanted land. While exploring, they suddenly come across a strange sight, a giant walking tree standing before them. Another spark for their imagination has just come alive. Leslie becomes completely absorbed in her fantasy world when she sees the giant walking tree. She even names it after a girl from school who often teases others. The moment becomes playful and intense as they both pretend the tree is chasing them, and they quickly run away, laughing, before returning to their treehouse. One day, after school, Jesse walks Leslie home. It's the first time he visits her house, where Leslie introduces him to her parents. Jesse is surprised to learn that her parents are writers, which explains why Leslie is so imaginative and creative. Later, Leslie spots a large bell hanging in a church and instantly thinks it would be perfect for their magical kingdom. That same night, Jesse's father asks him to get something and hands him the keys. However, Jesse accidentally drops the keys without noticing. His little sister finds them and, without thinking much, gives them to Leslie when she sees her nearby. Leslie takes the keys with her to Terabithia and uses them in her imagination as a magical bell for their fantasy world. Meanwhile, Jesse's father gets angry again when he realizes the keys are missing and scolds Jesse harshly. The next day, Leslie learns the truth, that the keys belong to Jesse's father and he's been looking for them. She immediately tells Jesse and offers to return with him to the treehouse to get them back. Once again, they enter the world of Terabithia, where their imaginations bring strange and mysterious creatures to life. In Leslie's eyes, the creatures are angry and want to harm them because they've stolen the keys to the magical kingdom. Both Jesse and Leslie feel frightened, caught up in their make-believe adventure. But Leslie calms Jesse down and encourages him to be brave. Together, they fight off the imagined creatures and make their way back safely. Jesse then returns the keys to his father himself, ending the misunderstanding. One day, while Jesse is sitting quietly in his room, he receives a phone call from his music teacher. She invites him to visit an art museum, and Jesse is excited by the idea. He tells his mother, "I'm going to the museum with my teacher," and leaves for the day. He is shocked to find his family in tears. His mother scolds him harshly, asking, "Where have you been?" Confused, Jesse replies, "Mom, I told you I was going to the museum with my teacher." Then his father breaks the terrible news. "Jesse, your friend Leslie is no more." He explains that Leslie had tried to swing across the forest stream using the rope like they always did, but the rope snapped and she fell into the water. Jesse is heartbroken and struggles to believe what he's just heard. The grief hits him hard. When Jesse visits Leslie's house, her father is filled with sorrow and tells him, "You were Leslie's closest friend. She cared about you deeply. You were her only friend." Days pass. One afternoon, Jesse goes alone to the magical world he and Leslie had created, Terabithia. His younger sister secretly follows him, but when he notices her, he yells at her in anger, "Go away. This place belonged to me and Leslie. No one else is allowed here. In that moment, Jesse returns to the quiet, withdrawn boy he once was. He stops talking to others, keeping his feelings locked inside. One day, after school, Jesse walks to the treehouse again, filled with sadness. He takes the colored pencils Leslie had once gifted him and begins throwing them into the stream below. Just then, he hears someone approaching. To his surprise, it's not a stranger, it's his father. Jesse breaks down in tears as he hugs his father tightly. With a trembling, "It's all my fault. If I had taken Leslie with me to the museum that day, she might still be alive." But his father gently comforts him and says, "No, Jesse, it's not your fault. Life doesn't always go the way we want. It just happens." Holding him close, Jesse's father consoles him and takes him back home. Sometime later, Jesse sees that Leslie's family is preparing to leave the neighborhood. As they pack up, Jesse runs to them and asks, "Can I have those pieces of wood outside your house?" Leslie's father, still grieving but kind, replies softly, "Yes, you can." Jesse takes the wood into the forest and begins to build something special, a bridge over the stream where Leslie had fallen. With it, people can now safely cross to the other side. He finishes the bridge and returns home to make things right with his younger sister. He sincerely apologizes to her for his earlier behavior and invites her to come see what he's built. When they reach the treehouse, Jesse smiles and says, "This whole place is a castle, and you are the princess of this land. All the magical creatures of Terabithia have come to see you." Inspired by Jesse's words and imagination, his sister begins to picture the world just as Leslie once had. In her eyes, Terabithia comes alive again, filled with wonder, fantasy, and the living Terabithians greeting them with joy. And with that, this beautiful and emotional journey comes to an end. Thanks for watching.